It's never been done before.
What's the plan?
When was the last time you were in Vegas?
You want to host an esports event in Vegas for Smite. Smite 2. Now you're talking.
The hi-rez Arena, Las Vegas.
Some said it couldn't be done.
Are you guys out of your mind? The Jade Dragons winning Worlds can't be beat. Not shouldn't be beat, it cannot be beat.
This January, see Smite like you've never seen before.
You clowns are gonna need a team even crazier than you. Who'd you have in mind?
Coming this January, Hindu Man's 11.
You're either in or you're out.
I'm in. Happy Saturday, Smite fans, and welcome into the Smite Content Creator Cup. I am in, and I'm happy to be back, not only for today, but working through Smite 2 all the way into Vegas in January, and I hope you'll be in there as well. A lot of great esports coming down the pipeline, and I'm really excited to get things kicked off, not only in Smite 2, but also here today with my buddy Gormizer. Gore, I'm having some weird
like deja
vu. An interesting
There's
time,
a chance we've had a very similar conversation to like this here before.
I'm sure we have.
It's a deja vu to the deja vu.
I'm sure we have. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yes, actually.
I've not.
Unfortunately, because I think it was like maybe a year and a half before you got hired, we did a Paladins event in Vegas, and it was awesome.
I just missed it. I just missed out on the Paladins event, but I'm not missing out on the Smite 2 event in Vegas early in January, so keep your eyes peeled for more information about that coming down the pipeline. Let's get started, though, on our Smite Content Creator Cup talk for the day. 4 teams remain after weeks, months even, of competition. We're down to Team iDavy versus Captain Twig's team, and then Rudy versus Caustic over on the other side. So Gormizer, we've whittled it down to these final 4 teams.
And I'm actually really excited. Again, like the way these teams have played, and also the way these teams have changed. So a lot of these guys are playing with like the same dudes that started, you know, in March this year when we were kicking things off. Twig has a pretty much entirely different roster around him now than he had when he first started, just because of, you know, different plans and people coming in and out and all that. But it has been really, really fun to watch. It's also been a fun like glimpse into a lot of different streamers, right? I found people who even aren't here to, you know, playing today that I've really found that I enjoy watching play Smite, and so I've gone and followed them, and I've been watching them, you know, besides that, which was a big one. And so being able to watch them do that, but also have this competitive aspect now as they get into a bracket, which I'm sure Twig at this point is used to, it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Twig has now officially been there and done that, right? Season 9 finally checked that final box. And, of course, all these teams this weekend playing for charity, so a great cause.
Yes.
Alongside some competitive Smite. Doesn't get much better than that. The first team I want to look at, though, Team Davey. Of course, Davey has been up and down the Smite pipeline. We have seen Davey, compete at various levels throughout Smite's history. But let's take a look at the rest of this squad here, Gora. Obviously, Davey playing in support. You got to swap around, right? That was one of the rules. Who else stands out here on this team?
Honestly, everybody on this team has done a lot. Aim Blue I'm going to keep my eyes on just because I believe there was an Agni nerf in this exact patch, and Aim Blue has been doing pretty good on the Agni, and so that's going to change some things around. And now, it's been an absolute blast watching them, though, because this was a team that we went into. And I think it was funny because the first week we went in, I didn't know what to expect. Davey was just having fun. He swapped to support, had it on good terms from him. He thinks it's a very easy role to play, and he's doing really well in it. And admittedly, you give him like one of the 3 or 4 gods that he's just absolutely rocking everyone's world with, and he does kind of make it look easy. This team ran the region. They looked really good. I think, and I kind of want to hear from him about it, but I feel like there was a little bit of a vibe check because everybody other than him, I think, was speaking Spanish, and then he was just, you know, doing his stream thing. And so maybe there was like a little bit of growing pains for him early on, similar to like Zapman back in the Leviathans days. But they played so good. Every single week they were just better, and then like the times if they lost, most of the time you could attribute it to like a little bit of trolling. Like you could see where like they made some goofy choices.
I wonder if this is a team that's dialed into the European Soccer Championship, football championship that's going on right now, because England
we talked about it too.
England. Whoa! It happened. We just got another Leviathan's piece of confetti for the first time.
I was just talking about that yesterday.
And it was just yesterday, Gore. We were in here casting the Season 8 World Championship event. But that team might be dialed in to the European Championship games that are going on. I saw a Spanish flag in there. But their pictures, Mbappe, who's France, who's not in the tournament anymore. So I wonder if any of that.
I wonder if there's going to be like bad blood internally.
Right, internally. Right, there's already a clash going on there. And this team playing on behalf of the Atlanta Humane Society. So if you like animals and pets, which of course I do, who doesn't?
That's where I got Bellini.
That's right.
I have a soft spot for this team and this charity now.
You're rooting for this team. We've talked about them plenty. It's J-Max standing by with Davey for the pregame.
That's right. I've got Captain iDavy here with me. Davey, let's just kind of start off with the whole event, kind of going through here. Your team dominates throughout the qualifying stage, dominates throughout the regular season. Then you get to the qualifier stage, absolutely blow competition out the water. Now you, the lone EMEA representative against 3 North American squads. I mean, how does it feel for you?
Yeah, it should be easy, to be fair. Should be a quick 5-0 weekend, and we were out of it quickly. So.
What's the comms kind of been like for the team? As mentioned, you're playing with a lot of Spanish speakers on the team. You not necessarily much of a Spanish speaker. What's kind of been the connection with you and your team there?
Yeah, honestly, I've played with Spanish teammates before. Like I was on a full Spanish team in qualifying for SEC a couple of years ago, so it's not too bad. But it's just at first, you just got to make sure they're still listening to you. When you're speaking English, that's the main thing. I don't really care if what they're saying anyway. So as long as they're listening to me in the end, that's all that matters. Like if wherever I'm calling, as long as they're listening, then we're good to go. So yeah, that's really easy, to be fair.
And then for you being, one of the pro representatives for the team, kind of having to play off role, what's it been like playing support competitively with your team?
Yeah, it's super fun. Just kind of catching the vibe from Preds, really. You know what I'm saying? Like copying the Preds play style, sitting dual lane, and then they added the bull demon, so unfortunately I had to go to mid lane, but that's fine. But yeah, it's really fun, to be fair. I enjoy sport all the time in ranks and stuff like that. So it was easy.
Well, best of luck to you, Davey. I'll look at you back with your team. Good luck out there.
Davey having to swap roles from carry to support, but it's still duo lane at the end of the day. Obviously, confidence from iDavy there, Gore. 5-0 weekend. You got a best of 3 here in the first round, and then should they win, they'd be in a best of 5 in the grand finals. Predicting a clean sweep.
And admittedly, I think, and because we got to talk to him a little bit, there's been a lot of EU bias in Smite for a long time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that there are some like EU players that now just live in NA that were also getting asked like, oh, well, yeah, of course EU's better. It's like, well, yeah, you're going to say that. It's like your homeland.
Yep.
I feel like if, you brought it up to like Twig's going to agree. Yay, the EU team's going to just be the better team. But I do also have to genuinely say they have a good reason to be or confident because like they did so well in literally everything. Open bracket, groups, give it to them. They were just absolutely running the show. So I think there's a good reason for Davey to be confident here.
Davey's always been confident as well, right? In the SEC, SPL, all that, we've seen nothing but confidence from this player over the years. Their opponents, though, team Captain Twig. Captain Twig, of course, the headliner for this squad. And then to the picture just throwing me off. Adorable family photo there, and then the roster alongside of it.
I said
outside of the child, Gore, who's the standout in this photo?
Well, it's going to be Twig, no matter what. I actually said what we need to do is go back and see if we can get pictures from when, an initial, SK Gaming Twig, very, very early on, 2013, and then just time-lapse it and send it to him, ending with this one.
Looked like the baby back then, right?
Yeah, just to see, at that point, just to see where it goes. No, I think this is going to be a fun team to watch. Again, things have changed a lot for this squad from when it first started playing all those months ago to where they are now. So I'm really interested in some of the curveballs that are going to come out with names that again haven't had that grind, but I'm also we're on a completely new patch. Things have changed a ton since the last time we watched a lot of these teams. When we last saw Europe, the 9.5 changes were still there, right? So you still had longer time to kill. It was a little bit of a slower paced game. NA got to play after those reverts, And then the game has still changed very drastically in the last like month since they did that. So like, I'm really excited to see what this team's going to do, because I feel like some of the changes, and you know, we've had this conversation in the past of like EU playstyle, NA playstyle, macro versus like just run it down, get kills, and run people over. I feel like right now you could probably just run it down, get kills, and run people over. And so maybe that's going to give them a little bit of an edge here against Davey.
Remember, I mean, Season 9 was the King's dominance, and Captain Twig was at the forefront of a lot of that. Talked about him plenty. Let's talk to him now. Captain Twig standing by with J-Mac.
That's right. Here with Captain Twig for our pregame interview. Talk to me a little bit about the role swap for you here. Obviously, being the pro representative for the team, can't play in your normal roles that you did play of mid and jungle. Now going over to solo lane, what's the experience kind of been like for you?
It's fun. It's a whole new lane. It's very different than I even expected. It's not really a 1v1 per se. It's a lot of people that like that lane on a lot of teams. So you know, it's a lot to adapt to.
And talk to me a little bit about the roster you've had, because you've had a bunch of different players and names kind of come through, starting at the early stages and to now culminating the roster now. What's kind of been like for the growth with you and your team?
It's been a series of unfortunate events, really, with player after player just not like being able to make it. So you know, what we're left with is a lot of passion. And that's what I'm hoping will drive us through this tournament.
And you're playing up against the only EMEA roster over here in iDavy. Does you think that puts a little bit more pressure? Because historically, EU's kind of had the advantage over the North American squads. Do you think that you guys maybe find a bit of disadvantage against them?
Yeah, I think they might have our number today. So they'll know my playstyle since I'm from EU. And I don't think we have a chance.
Well, Captain Twig, I wish you the best of luck out there. Good luck in your match. We'll throw it back to the desk.
But you know what, Dave?
Tell me.
It's all for charity, so no matter what, everyone wins.
I was going to say that the animals in the Atlanta Humane Society love that interview that Captain Twig just gave.
They're just like, I'm about to get adopted today.
That's right. So the picture of confidence from Davey, and then the picture of having fun from what was the. This is good. You and I can reminisce some today, Gore, getting back into the swing of things.
God, you're gonna make me use my brain.
I don't think it was. No, I think was it SPL qualifiers where there was a team just called like the Fun Havers, and our whole talking point was just that they were having fun.
Yeah, and they did really good. Yeah. I'm blanking on his name. Their jungler, whatever his name was, did not have a Twitter. That was like a really big deal for him as well. Magic Feet.
Yep.
He was real good, as it turns out. Just plays a lot of Smite. Didn't have a Twitter, didn't seem to exist on any socials actually outside of just he likes playing games. So they had a lot of fun.
Obviously, it's Team Captain Twig, but maybe we'll call them the Fun Havers moving
in essence.
In essence, they're embodying the Fun Havers, because Davey and his squad, apparently some steamrollers coming into the Smite Content Creator Cup Finals. Picks and bans for game number 1. And Gore, we're going to see how many gods I can remember as they roll onto our screen. I want to talk about a strategy question.
Okay.
And maybe you've seen this some over the qualifying weeks. Are Davey and Twig just immediately getting their picks, do you think, here? Are you immediately target banning those players on the other side?
I target ban Davey every single day of the week.
I think
if you take out, like, the Ares, what did he have? Ares, Cabrakan. Although a lot has changed since the last time I saw Davey. That's the real big issue. Is his Ares is really, like, that's pretty much target number 1. His Fafnir was pretty good.
Yep.
I can't remember if he had a Yamoja Terra. That's the god that I'm thinking of. That's who those are like the 4 really that he was running a lot of. And most of the time, if I remember their team's draft strategy, there might have been some leeway. But like if Ares was open, they were going for it. If that was first pick or in the top 3, it was gonna be the top 3 though. And the thing I'm really interested in is because so much has changed. Like items have changed, gods have changed, the amount that you can survive in the game has changed since at least Davey had played in an SCCC matchup.
Yep.
And so there's going to be a lot of things to change and adjust to. Erlong Shin's the one that caught me off guard, because I missed this when I read the patch notes the 5 times I've read it so far.
Yep.
And I don't play a lot of Erlong, so even when I notice his name, I kind of skip over it, because that's just like my habit. He got his knockup back, and it's not as strong, but he does knock up in the turtle, and so I feel like, and I've been watching, because they're like the people who stream the longest, a lot of SOT, and Nika and just solo laners in general.
I was going to say.
And they've been rocking assassins. They've been rocking whatever they can. And I feel like if you're confident in the solo lane and you could, as like Twig, make Erlong work, you're going to go for Erlong.
Yeah, Erlong's that's a Twig special. You know, that was Twig for years, was playing Erlong Shen out of the jungle. If you can make it work in solo, why not?
That's right.
Well, Gore, I can tell you
Where's
that's
the
Kuzenbo. That's Fafnir. That's Erlong Shen. I'm
Cool.
3 for 3. Lancelot,
6 or
Chang'e,
6?
and Cthulhu
Yeah,
are
nailed
the
it.
3 bands. And then, I mean, the picks are spoon-fed to me. Charybdis! We are certainly back in Season 9 style of gameplay because Charybdis was very viable back then. And certainly viable nowadays. Good for a first pick for Davey's team. Answered by an Ardio and a Camazotz on the flip side.
Yeah, I can't. Ardio has been in a lot of discussions as someone who is real survivable right now.
Yeah.
Turns out she was already hard to kill, now she's harder to kill, and so I have to imagine that's like the easiest solo lane pickup you could have. She does bring a lot, and you can use her in support. I feel like Neil Ma was like someone who we saw try to make that happen often. But let's just be honest with ourselves, that like never happens. It's not really where a lot of her weight relies on. She is able to survive and get a lot done in solo. She is able to tank up a lot. She provides some CC in the late game. She can give you a lot of aggression. I think it's just a good pickup. Shows me that the team, and specifically Twig, who's been playing a lot of solo lately and also plays a lot of like duel, knows where he's going with what kind of style he wants to bring for his team. And then you get a carry around it in Camazotz to make sure that it can pack a punch still.
The Camazotz is hard to kill too, right? Over the years, that's one thing we've always talked about with this god. Is
If your goal is to not get steamrolled, this is a great top 2.
Right, and I'm wondering if that's just a strategy here.
Hachi follows the exact same line of thinking.
Do you think? I wonder. We've had this type of conversation in varying degrees. When one team feels like they're maybe outmatched on the battleground, you feel like you've got to steamroll your opponent in picks and bans at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where Twig and his squad are prioritizing their draft. Ardio, Camazotz, Hachiman. 3 gods are going to be very difficult to kill. But Gore, you mentioned the Ares when we were talking about Davey in support just a few minutes ago. And they get it in their 3rd pick before that second wave of bans. I have to imagine Twig's team would have started taking away maybe a few more of those supports and so maybe some good strategy there.
Yeah, I don't want to pull away from Davey. Sobek's also on a list of gods that he can play pretty well, but like his Ares was the best support that I saw over the last few months, and it was by a decent margin, not like so much that I'm like, oh my god, he's just awful at everybody else, but like his Ares could facilitate and almost fully carry games for his team. You get that alongside, again, we're talking survivability. A Charybdis, the Whirlpool is going to allow you to get out of there, but there's a lot of clean setup for an Ares, and if you can get the ult combos, that's going to feel really solid. Morgan Le Fay as well in mid. It's just going to be a god that you have to keep your eyes on and should be doing a lot of damage. Again, Aim Blue is somebody who I'm going to keep my eyes on in general in this lane because they have had some very stellar performances. I could understand why Twig was feeling a little not confident in the interview, you know?
Gore, I mean, there's survivability from Twig's team, sure. There's lockdown and kill pressure from Davey's team, though, between a Charybdis, a Morgan Le Fay, Ares. Talk about space control. And probably smart, then, that you're taking the Daji and the Hunbats away. So a bit more survivability, but also some lockdown, a little anti-heal with the Cerberus pick. Does it fit the mold, in your opinion, Gore? Is it what Twig's team needed in their 4th slot?
I like it. I don't know. I mean, it gives you CC, right? It's going to give you some anti-heal, which is going to be nice just in general. I feel like that's just good to have no matter what. And your team, considering how survivable they already are, Cerberus has not only his own kind of survivability, his stun's a little harder to hit. Some of his CC isn't going to come as readily as like his ult, and that's going to rely on a lot. But then teamfight ultimate-wise, you've got a lot that again, is going to war with that Ares, at least, in terms of jump in, jump out. I don't know how much I like the follow-up just yet, but I think that's going to rely a lot on their mage, right? Like, Hachi can do a little bit of burst. You drop the banner depending on your build, right? You've got, Hasten Vitalis back in the game. You probably are going to have enough attack speed, Ichval, things like that you're going to be able to burn through people, but, like, it's not the 900 damage Cuckoo ult that you come to expect. Camazotz as well, like, does a lot of damage. Isn't exactly the guy I'm thinking of, okay, cool, he's going to hit them all at once and all 3 of them are going to die, so I do want to see something maybe to follow up a Cerberus ult a little stronger here and give him more than just like single target damage, but I don't mind it.
Man, Now, you know, I may be rusty, but Gore, this is feeling like a very front foot versus please, you know, back foot type of draft here between Davey and Captain Twig. I'm seeing a lot of initiation on the left side of my screen, and maybe some counter initiation from Captain Twig's team. You put some emphasis on this mage. That's not a mage. that's Jormungandr.
Hey, I'm gonna be real.
What's
I'm gonna
the
keep
strategy?
it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't know what Twig's team is anymore. Like it's all. Hey, I can tell you this: they are going to live when they all hit 5.
Yeah.
They are going to live through anything, not anything, through most things. But I could not. Like Yorm, I guess could go mid with the right build right now. I feel like he could do a lot. Serb.
That's fun.
I wouldn't like that
They're
in
the
mid,
fun-having
if I'm
team.
being honest. So I like the idea of like Ardios solo, Serb support, Yorm in mid, but it's going to be an interesting – I think this is going to be a fun one. If they're having fun, this is going to be a fun one. And they're not going to die as much as they can.
Right. We can't detract from the undertone that we already set for Twig's team. We said that this team apparently is going to wear the Fun Havers moniker for this event. And maybe this roster is going to have some fun with their draft here in game number 1. Do you feel like I'm in the right ballpark, though, Gore? Do you feel like this Davey team is very front foot engage heavy? Do you like what you see from the aggressive team?
Yeah, we've had this a couple times in the past where like you can really look at a team comp and tell what's going through the players' minds.
Yeah.
Davey's team wants to ruin Twig's team's day. Like this comp
they don't want him to have fun.
Was designed to run at you and make you regret playing against them. It was designed to, as he said, get a 2-0 into a 3-0 tomorrow. Like that is what their goal is. That's what they're aiming for. Ares chains, guess what? It's going to lock some of you down. You've got good follow-up in a Charybdis and a Morgan Le Fay. You've got a Matarasu who's going to shred prots on this incredibly tanky team, make them easier to kill and easy to chase down. And then you've got Thor, who, in terms of just players and gods, like, you've got setup, you've got CC, you've got damage. You're going to be bringing it all to the table. I love Davey's roster because it fits what they want to do as a style.
Yeah.
And when you look at Twig's team, again, it's written plain on the board. They just want to not die. You've got Ardio with healing and self-peel. You've got Camazotz with that out of hell to get out of there. And self-healing. You've got Hachiman, who, guess what? He's really good at getting out of there. Jormungandr, who, what is his ult used for most of the time? Just getting out of there. This is a team that knew they were going to get run down and knew that the only way to really combat that was not going to be to try and match Davey's pace, but to try and rip that momentum out from under their legs, get out, and then maybe re-engage. I don't know how that re-engage is going to go for them because it feels like a lot of their essence is in the get out part. But I'm excited to see what they can do if they re-engage, how they're going to build things like the Yorm and, you know, some of the new items, if that's going to maybe make the difference of facilitate a Camazotz and a Hachi to like really carry for them, or if Davey's just going to hit him with 3 chains and then burn them all down like it's nothing.
I at least appreciate that Twig's team is using every part of the earth to escape. You got air, right, with Camazotz. You got underground with the Jormungandr, and then you're galloping away if you're the Hachiman. You've got above, below, and right in front of you, and there's no actual analysis there.
I thought there was going to be like an earth, wind, water, fire.
No, whatever the equivalent is of what I just said is what I'm going to apply to that.
You're like earth, and I'm like, okay, got you. Air, got you.
But I always hesitate. I mean, I think it's good we're setting the storyline of aggression because that's what Davey and his team like to do. That's clearly
I imagine
what
that's
going
to
be
2 games of aggression.
So Goremiser's he's on Team Davey here, and the Atlanta Humane Society. Therefore, God, you're right. You were biased because that's where you got Bellini.
They're also like one of I only have a couple charities that I donate to monthly. They are one of them. So
understood.
Like I'm real big with the Atlanta Humane Society. I love those guys.
They're happy with the draft from Davey's team here in game number 1. Goremiser and I, we're done for now, but Anthony Malum and J-Mac will take you into game 1.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome back as well. J-Mac and Anthony by your side. And man, we are in game. We are ready to go. J-Mac, I don't know what was more shocking for me. The amount of straight up damage and aggression that was drafted by Team iDavy, or the lack of a King Arthur.
The King Arthur is just not fun to fight into an Ardio, and maybe that's where Captain Twig went and said, I don't want to play King Arthur. I don't want to play against King Arthur, so maybe you go ahead and just draft up the Ardio. I'm maybe a little surprised that Shield of the Phoenix isn't immediately rushed out of it. That is like the hot item right now. If you are an old head in Smite, that's the OG Gladiator Shield. Captain Twig getting a bit handled though. Over in the solo lane. Might even go down here if Yor keeps playing aggressive.
Gotta be careful with it, but able to step back just in time. And actually, Captain Twig turns it around, not really afraid of this fight. Look at the turntables already, and Captain Twig trying to make it happen, and does! For the first blood. Oh man, step to me again on my RDO.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you want to fight at these early levels, you gotta kill the minions, and Yor just leaves a few of those archers standing by, so Captain Twig has backup, able to turn back around and get those kills, get that fight, though. Captain Twig maybe sticking around a little too long himself. We'll be able to go back, get that totem, and be able to build up into that first defense item. And with the way that the meta has somewhat developed now in these few days of this patch, Shield of the Phoenix is huge, lifesteal is a big thing, anti-heal is going to be the name of the game, and you have great applicators on the side of Team iDavy. Aim Blue on Morgan Le Fay is fantastic for it.
Elder pressuring back. That Amaterasu not allowing any type of pressure on the Captain Twig. This RDO, I mean, you've really touched on it. It's kind of my watch. My solo lane was the real place where my eyes were going to go all day today. See what comes out of there, who really can make it work, that then snowball the rest of the lanes. But a great start, maybe not for Koja Fox. Low on the serve, but able to step back safely under that tier 1 tower. That was a close call, though.
It's very dangerous in this dual lane now. Again, with the 9-5 revert, everybody's a little bit less tanky. Everybody feels like they're doing a bit more damage because of that. And one of the gods that just excels in that regard is one like Ares. His chains were already doing 40-50% of your health at level 1, level 2 before the revert. Now it's doing 60-70% if you can land a full combo. And from what we've seen from Davey, he's able to do so. Elder should just be going down. Good rotation from Yor there. Nearly gets the 1v1, but as you know in Smite, there's no true 1v1.
Never a 1v1, especially when you've got an Ama who cares about you. So at least iDavy's got the chemistry rolling early on. Invade as well on the left-hand side of the map coming out from Team iDavy. So playing no games, trying to make sure they can continue and start up a snowball by pressuring out that purple buff. Koja and Stewie will look to try to get a contest across, but Ragna's already there, and Ragna will have the purple. Team Captain Twig now getting horrific too. Should be tanky enough to get at least under the tower, but Stewie took a lot for that.
Ragna not pushing up either means that that kill doesn't get to go their way. They do manage to steal away the purple, which is just by nature of what Davey's able to do. Hit a couple of chains, throw fire, and it might even be a kill here on Koja Fox if Ragna keeps pushing forward.
All the chains, all the damage, all the death. Ragna gonna find one. 2 kills now total for Team iDavy. Captain Twig, though, with the response, a blink coming out from Elder, looking for iDavy. The damage onto the Ares, with Stewie standing there. No ult for Hachiman. Will it matter at all? Davey should be good as dead, and Ragna has abandoned all hope for the Ares. Said, oh, you got it. Thanks, man. Support's getting no love.
No, I think that's the right play by Ragna, realizing that there's no way we're going to get a kill. There's 3 people that are going to be part of this fight. Just let the support go down. We've already done enough. We got the invade on purple, the invade on green, the kill after that. All of that is just eventually snowballing into Davey, sticking around a little bit too long, getting caught out, not hitting that level 5 yet. Maybe the more important part of that. It's at least going to slow down the dual lane. Aim Blue.
That was a jump scare entirely, but no way you get out of that. But iDavy's got the back of Aim Blue, and Team iDavy's turning it around. They're going to bring down C-Host too. I got jump scared for Aim Blue. I should have felt the other way.
Dark clotheslines the entire team. Captain Twig might be getting a solo kill of his own over there. Needs a little bit more damage, but a quick dash shot by Yor gets him out alive. I thought at that point Aim Blue as good as dead to rights by that point. But Dark comes in with a beautiful double dunk. Sehos is already in the World Serpent at that point, so can't go for a continuation. Captain Twig might be in a bit of danger now himself.
Here's a dash in by Yor. iDavy here. Dark is too, so Twig might be able to bring down one of the way. No! Somehow Ama gets away, but not surprisingly, Twig goes down. But will anybody else get picked up? Now Koja Fox here grabs iDavy, throws him back to Elder, who sends him right to the grayscale. 3rd kill for Captain Twig.
I love the 11-6 patch because it's just given us more matchups like this, just more constant brawling across the map. Supports leaving dual lane at level 4-5 and saying, what can we fight on the map? Where can we go? What objectives are available to us? With the Bull Demon there, that's something you can go for. And then we see the quick rotations over to solo lane. Captain Twig just one ability off getting that kill on Yor. Gets a little bit turned around, misses the auto, doesn't have the ability lined up. and can't quite get that kill, but the backup of the rest of the team make sure they can. Ragna going for a dangerous invade.
No fear at all.
Doesn't get punished at all for it, by the way. Now Davey's here just to help out. Could try and go for a turnaround kill, but this is maybe a bit overzealous from Team iDavy trying to go for anything beyond just that invade.
It was overzealous, but Stewie and CaptainTwig walked away from Ragna as if they had 5 more kills than they actually do. So a lot of respect being given to that Charybdis. And now Davey themselves hanging around, looking for the green, the chain. It's a good steal.
Wow.
iDavy is living in the Captain Twig jungle.
That was secured through Paralyzing Spit and Heavenly Banner. Davey's able to throw a single chain just to weave it in between the 2 abilities landing and steals away that green buff. Momentum definitely in favor of Team iDavy. They might be a little bit behind as far as gold, maybe even a little bit of XP in some spots, but they have the momentum right now. And when you have a team like this, a Thor, Ares combo, you want to play this run at them comp like they're doing.
Davey running at CaptainTwig and bringing the rest of Team iDavy. No escape, but it is responded to. Didn't matter. CaptainTwig was a little bit too early. It might just be dead on the landing. Dark not going to find it until the auto hits. Elder still hanging around. Bat out of health going to be used. But wait, hang on. This could turn around onto Team iDavy. The damage is there. It is, but Dark is still hanging. A double for Dark. 1 for Ragna. The last one standing is going to be Stewie. Don't do it indeed. Just get out of there, Hachi. No ult, but has enough space now to stay alive.
So many whiffed abilities during that, and I'm going to include the Cerberus ultimate on its missed timing from CaptainTwig, whiffing that one. Dark misses the landing afterwards. Davey gets the pull through. World Serpent misses a couple of targets throughout all of that, but just constant brawling there over by that Gold Fury. And as the game continues to go on, that's going to favor the teams with better inherent sustain in their kit. Aim Blue with his ultimate's going to be able to stay alive a little bit easier there. But I'm waiting for when Captain Twig and Yor start rotating to these team fights. These tankier members of the solo lane. In fact, Captain Twig going for a bit of damage in his build in that second slot. Start with the breastplate, now building into the pen trees. I'm curious as to where we'll see Captain Twig go that way. Gotta imagine it's probably something along the lines of Divine Ruin if you want the anti-heal, or just a Spear of Desolation if you want the insane amount of extra cooldown over for this RDO. But I'm just gonna keep my eyes. I know I said it a lot earlier in the broadcast already, but I want to see that Shield of the Phoenix, but if he gets that, he runs the risk of there being something like Divine Ruin from Aim Blue to really be able to deal with that. RDO's a monster now, not because of just Shield of the Phoenix giving so much sustain there, but the buff to her sustain prior was so potent for this character. I mean, 200 healing from her first ability at max rank per target that she hits. By the way, everybody's HP got a little bit lower, so that 600 that you can get means a whole lot more now.
Unbelievably so. We saw a purple buff invade again coming out from Ragna. The blue buff invade from Twig is responded to by a Thor ultimate, but Twig not afraid to take the 1v3 now, but that's a bit too much damage to handle. Gonna be a rampage for Dark, making it 9-4 now for Team iDavy. And J-Mac, they're really starting to roll. For a while, it felt like, okay, they got some pressure in the jungle. Okay, now they've got kills, but now we got 400 gold. Favoring Team iDavy, 2,500 experience, and I've heard you say before, sometimes those experience charts tell a bigger story than the gold alone.
Yeah, the big deficit right now is between those junglers, 2 levels up for Dark. Aim Blue just being walked at by Sejos. Spit is good, and Sejos might just be going for a little bit more.
Not afraid to use that World Serpent to get aggressive. Also trouble left side 2 for Ragna, in between 2, but did have the Whirlpool available to get away, which is becoming a problem that Ragna is continuing to live because Stewie is now fallen down behind 2 levels to that Charybdis.
Interested to see the Coach Fox went for Mail of Renewal in that first slot. Gauntlet of Thieves, Prophetic, those are still kind of your premier solos. Sejos, nice little double tap there from Dark, but has he stuck around too long, or maybe I should say Elder, trying to fight too much. Half HP, ult from iDavy, pulls back nobody this time, it's double ultimate.
The horrific came out too. iDavy stepping back, Dark ready to go in. Elder's only level 9, and now with Yor here too, Ama diving forward, but we'll have to go back. Gotta be a bit careful using a dazzling offensive. If you go too far under the tower, then you're just handing kills back to Captain Twig. And when you've got now what's becoming a true snowball, borderline a death balling if you're Team iDavy, you really gotta play safe with it and smart with it.
And that first item for Yor is telling as to why we don't see the dive go a little bit further. Magic defense. Not gonna do you a whole lot when you're diving a tier 1 tower this early, and only just now went back and picked up tier 2 towards that physical tree. So Gets the first hit, dazzling offensive, sees the enemy goes too far deep in a tower, takes probably about 300 damage from a tower shot and says, okay, I think we should back up. My life's not worth this continued dive for one extra kill. Team iDavy still playing with that momentum game, 10-5 on the kills, 6 of those being in Dark's hands directly. Davey in a 1v3 won't be alone for too much longer. aimblue standing by.
Watch out for Dark 2 on the landing. Finds Elder in the back line, but can't claim the kill quite yet. Double tap has your back. Now Dark's unstoppable, but you need to be more than unstoppable to help out your team as C-Host brings down 2 and looks for more. And Team Captain Twig want that BDK.
We'll be able to pick that one up unless we see a rotation from Team iDavy to stop that. Will not, in fact. iDavy just not having ultimate during that fight puts him at such a disadvantage. The Ares does a lot of damage with chain, does a lot of damage with fire, but that ultimate is what you really need to have up for these big fights. Dark had a great dunk to keep that one going, but by the time the dunk comes through, you already have CaptainTwig walk to the back line with World Serpent. You've already got the Elder ready throwing out damage against aimblue, puts him incredibly low during that, and iDavy falls alongside there, leaving Dark all by his lonesome. Sure, the 7 kills is nice to his name, but those 7 kills have got to get a little bit more going. Is 4 levels up over Elder, which is great for Dark, but the rest of the team is starting to suffer a little bit because of that. You see level deficits in a couple of different spots there. Yor and aimblue a level behind, but it's going to come down to Ragna and Dark when it comes to these big fights. 703, 203 for the 2 of them, and sitting 3 to 4 levels up over their opposition.
Close, but not close enough for Team iDavy. They will get it. Captain Twig, they were so close to getting it. I thought maybe Stewie had a chance, but he went in with mounted archery, and unlucky for the Hachiman, that doesn't lock on to gold, and didn't get dismounted quick enough to get a steal across. But man, I like that Captain Twig is still making the effort to contest these objectives, because you can't allow the game to get too out of hand. You can't allow Dark to slam down quite like that and bring you down.
Doja Fox falls down. World Serpent used by CaptainTwig, but just going to use it more defensively than anything. Back to the Tier 1 tower with 3 members standing around. You definitely don't want to stick around, especially when you've got a lot of damage in your kit as this Jormungandr. The desk was wondering, what's going on with this Jormungandr? Well, once upon a time, we did see quite a few games where Jorm was being played mid. You just get that raw mage damage. You've got the tanky values by just nature of being a Guardian, and you can do a whole lot of damage. But we're not quite at that point of the game yet. Still at the tankier portion of the game for CaptainTwig, but not quite at the damage part just yet.
And not to mention, a little bit of slight knowledge I have on C-Host is I've seen this Yorm brought out in scrims. I've seen it brought out in draft leagues in the amateur scene. So C-Host is not afraid to bring out this Yorm. And while that's a completely different setting than in a LAN, up, big pressure, a big game feel, I still think that knowledge definitely matters. And also, J-Mac, you've been talking a lot about items, and we're getting to see sort of new build paths for the first time. The ADC's going 2 drastically different routes so far.
Yeah, we'll have... I'm not 100% if it was Zapman who kind of started this build that Stewie's going for, or if Zap kind of popularized it a little bit more, bringing light to it. But Aussie and the Shifters is something we've been seeing a bit out of carries come through. You get a decent bit of power and lifesteal. You get some pen from the Aussie. Really good to start up. Shifters, when you're above that 75% health threshold, gives you a good amount of damage. When you fall below, gives you an incredible amount of tankiness as well, and it's part of why this item is starting to become core on multiple members across the map here, is it's just a great stat stick item, whether you're a tank or whether you're a damage dealer. You either get more damage or you just get tankier depending on how a fight is going. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more of this item popping up around the builds.
Captain Twig brings down the Tier 1 tower in the solo lane. So it matches the one over in duo that iDavy was able to take away. Dark in the sky. We'll see if it is a full-on commit to Captain Twig. Going to be tough to bring down this Ardio right now, and that is the call to not go for it, not over-commit. That Ardio is just so tanky right now.
And you know what our favorite game is with the SC? Well, we'll have to maybe hold off on the game for a moment, because action happening in mid.
No escape going to be used. Beats down by Twig, brings in Koja Fox, and maybe that helps things out. iDavy sent back, and Elder's just trying to bring down the Ares. Finally, it'll happen, but it wasted a lot of time. Dark was able to find good damage with the double tap off the back of it, and Team iDavy actually the ones pressuring out Team Captain Twig now. Jor's still going in, looking for Captain Twig, who just now gets the dash away, but that opens up objectives.
Could see. Pyromancer for Team iDavy. Koja Fox is here to disrupt. No ultimate on the Serb is gonna make healing this team a little bit awkward. Same with CaptainTwig. No ults for these 2 Guardians. But just their presence alone is enough to delay this Pyro a bit. Pyromancer does go to Team iDavy. Not much further follow-up than there. Still fairly healthy on both sides, but without ultimates for Kojafox, without ultimate for Sejos, not really wanting to stick to a commitment around that objective.
Move off invade now, Team iDavy continuing the invades no matter how late we get, and it will be successful. Matters a bit less for the RDO at this point, but still just continuing that pressure in the jungle. But before we get too crazy, I gotta know, what's the game we play? I got excited.
Let's count how many stacks Captain Twig gets on his third item Prophetic every game.
Ooh, it's already cooking.
It feels weird to say it's an ongoing bit at this point, but every time we tune into Captain Twig, whenever he's playing for the Content Creator Cup, he builds, without fail, Prophetic in third slot, and then we just keep track of how many stacks he gets up to in a game. Already at 4,
okay.
But we've had plenty of games where we don't see that number get above like 22, 23. So we'll see if he can actually fully stack one for this game.
Hey, I mean, we're fighting. It's a bloodbath. It's post-revert time, and it's Primal Fury time for Team iDavy. No real answer from Team Captain Twig, so that one's going to go for free. The objectives are really starting to pile up. It's now coming up on 17 minutes, 12-8. iDavy is stuck in some trouble, and the gold continues to mount. It might be even more if iDavy can make this work, but Captain Twig have a good look. They're looking at Dark, they're looking at Davey, but still no kills towards the way of Red.
Oh,
finally, they'll get one. Sejos gonna find a double. Stewie's got the other. Man, Sejos needed that shutdown too. That Yorm's gonna be doing numbies. Bring the numbies to Yor, who cannot get away from Captain Twig. 4 dead. Team Captain Twig is back in this game right as we started to talk about it.
Where were all of the beads? Where were all of the ultimates to immune Kojafox? He literally just walks up, picks up 3 people, and hand delivers it to Sejos, who just spits on the enemy team, hits them with the bellow, and then an immediate triple right after that one. Captain Twig, his roster really pulling it together. A free Fire Giant to come off the back of that one. Just miscommunication out of Team iDavy, maybe not thinking that there was any follow-up for the Cerberus, but everybody on Team Captain Twig was there. Gets a perfect follow-up off Kojafox's Stygian Torment. Hand delivers him right to the damage dealers at that point. Ragna's going to go for a split push. It will be able to get that tower, and it does distract Twig. Ragna shouldn't die here as a Charybdis, but it is an RDO, probably one of the better gods to chase him down, but there's the hardest part about killing Charybdis, just how mobile and how defensive they are. Unless you turn around and miss the stun, Ragna might actually be dead here.
And Twig's gonna get everything at this rate. There's the Aegis, there's the kill. Twig just runs down that ADC. Twig might be in a new lane, but he's still doing jungler things and terrorizing ADCs across the map.
Yeah, I thought that Ragna had a better chance of living there. Egg on my face that the level 20 Charybdis can't outrun an RDO.
I can find one real quick.
I don't think we have any in studio. I think Tristan used them all up before in our editing for some of our other content, so
that's around
unfortunate no eggs here to throw at me. But right now it's Team Captain Twig flipping the momentum. It was 2,000 gold up for Team iDavy, now back to even, and a few towers to start batting down. Mid lane and tier 2, or mid lane tier 2, and the tier 1 over in dual lane for Stewie, who's been having a bit of a rough game. Not that he's been dying a whole lot or anything like that.
Oh boy.
It's just that he's been denied so much of his farm this game.
Team Captain Twig gonna take the fight in the mid lane. They might just lose that solo lane Phoenix, so it'll be a rampage for Sejos, and they will indeed lose the solo lane Phoenix. An instant back out from Team Davey. Mission accomplished, but now you have to defend your own mid Phoenix. A blink out from Kojafox, not gonna bring back anybody. Elder going aggressive, looking for aim blue, bat out of hell. Matter of fact, Thor missed too. This is working real great for Captain Twig. They're gonna bring down one already, and Aim Blue's just gotta get out of dodge, but Sejos is in the World Serpent and on the way.
Oh, Aim Blue, perfect use of CC, perfect use of abilities, and Yor gets a nice kill on Captain Twig. Onto the left side, Phoenix. The Order Phoenix will pick up Sejos because nobody dealt damage to him.
Teamwork.
So 2 big kills for Team iDavy's side of the map. But Aim Blue plays that perfectly, beads his away from Kojafox's ultimate, dives up into his for the CC immunity to be able to escape the onslaught of damage from Elder, who goes into bat out of hell, able to get away from any damage back. But as soon as Elder lands back down, it's one of the hardest CCs in the game to ever avoid. You have to predict it. It's that Dragonflight from Aim Blue that keeps him alive and knocks up Elder, pushes him away, and all it takes is to juke away from Sejos under his own Titan room at that point. great play there by aimblue to stay alive and get so much out of Team Captain Twig.
So much. The solo lane Phoenix is gone. You held on to all your Phoenixes. No real damage at that. Now you've got Pyro. You're going to have Oni up soon, which you'll be able to set up for if you want to force a fight over there. There's so much going good for iDavy off the back of that play, and the really good call to go solo and grab that Phoenix.
You get Phoenix, you defend your own. Sure, you lose out on a few towers, but then there's only one tower left standing on Captain Twig's side of the map, that being that mid lane tier 2 tower versus just the one over in solo for Team iDavy. It's that big Phoenix that's so important because now Vineyard's going to keep pushing up on that side. All Team iDavy has to do is just keep Team Captain Twig busy over here at this Oni Fury. It's just going to be Yor for the moment, but Dark can jump up in the sky at any moment. I don't think they will, considering how quickly Captain Twig's team has just kind of scattered to the winds, clear out any camps that are available, and start heading back to base and reset.
Feels like Team iDavy learned that before. They got so confident early game, staying in the jungle, Team Captain Twig, and living there. iDavy got caught one time, and the fight worked really well. There's the combo, but they comboed onto a World Serpent that was already underground, and you can't stun him underground. He can just do his own thing under there.
Yeah, Sejos makes a quick decision, immediately cancels out of his third ability once he gets revealed, because he realizes if an Amaterasu is ulting me, there's probably more people following up. So quick thinking by Sejos, cancels out from that lurk, jumps immediately to the World Serpent, and gets 2 ultimates for just his 1. He'll take that. Decent bit of CDR already on Sejos, has that 20%, so it'll come up a little bit sooner. Maybe some of these other big hitters that are out there. Team Captain Twig just want to take some time. This Fire Giant's coming back up. Team Captain Twig does not have the best Fire Giant push of teams. Not having a traditional mage means it's going to take a little bit longer for that burstness to come online. Stewie has gone into a bit of an awkward build with the Shifter Shield. Gives him some decent damage. But if those Fire Giant hits start stacking up a little too much, if he gets hit by a knockup, you lose a lot of that power. That's the dangerous, the trade-off of Shifters on your Hunter, is if you can stay back here and do this for Stewie, it's great. You get a whole lot of extra damage that pops your way. But as soon as you get a little too involved in the fight, a little too much diving, you get the boost of defense, but you lose out on that damage trade-off.
Everything is up for this Fire Giant dance. Not a single relic down for either team. A lot of power spikes just hit recently, too. Looking at the ADCs in particular, Kin's now online, ready to go. And it's a really close one. We've touched all those bases. It's just a matter of who makes the first real move. Captain Twig, okay for now. Yor got a little bit... It looks like Yor had an idea, but the idea unfortunately not going to work out. Stigi B is up. Team iDavy stepping towards the fire.
Fire started for Team iDavy. Captain Twig's team has some decent means to get in there and try and disrupt this, but they got to move fast. Fire's already at 40.
Dark in the sky, gonna look for Elder on the land down, catches the beads. Bat out of hell is the instant response. Meanwhile, C-Host is blowing up everybody and making it work. Look at the damage coming out from the Worm. Ragna does get 1 in response. It's Coach of Fox, but C-Host isn't done yet. A double kill for C-Host, 1 for Captain Twig. The 2 remaining members of Team iDavy head back to try to wait out. Maybe one more attempt to steal this fire away will come out from Dark. Uses the wall, and Elder gets completely distracted, can't turn, but Ragna's there in time, and Ragna gets the Fire Giant away!
Just walks in and with a casual spike shot, steals that one from Captain Twig's team. And this goes back to what I was mentioning, is Captain Twig's squad does not have great fire burn. They don't have great fire secure. They are essentially best off waiting for someone else to do the heavy lifting and then come through and get the cleanup. And that's what they attempted to do. Team iDavy had fire down to 30-35%. They pick it back up and say, okay, we can just casually take our time, lightly work with this. And then Dark shows up. Elder says, all right, I'm done with Fire Giant. I got to hunt down Dark, who's just standing there with Ragna right at the end of the pit. Sure, the wall misses from Dark, but the wall isn't what makes Thor amazing in a 1v1 like that. It's just the raw damage values that Dark has.
Right.
And having that shifters for the both of them means that Dark is just going to be able to live through so much more. Captain Twig steps up a little bit too far here. Should go down, but it's going to be a lot to take him down. Yor does manage to get that dazzling offensive, but again, it's a lot invested to kill Captain Twig.
Dark was looking for Kojafox, can't find it quite yet, but now the re-engage from iDavy's good to set up Ragna to bring down C-Host. A killing spree for the Charybdis, and a tier 2 tower is on the menu for Team iDavy. They've got fire on the important 2, that jungler, that ADC, and they are not afraid to use it. Look at the commitment from Team iDavy. Now under that Phoenix, bomb out, they should get it, and they might just get a Kojafox, but they lose. Ragna's able to clean up that Surd, but it took so long. Elder will get some poke, but should be good to get out. iDavy, though, still ready to step up.
Davey throws out the chain, it misses. Wall double tap on an Elder, a couple more in-hands from Dark, takes him down. And it's 2 Phoenixes with all members aside from Yor now pushing to the Titan.
All right, Stewie, what do you got? It's everybody in there, but the stun gonna hit the double tap too, forcing a dash away. That Titan is low, but Team iDavy gets forced off on the respawn of Captain Twig. They turn and they run for the hills. Stewie had it just enough, he just had to live. But the re-engage from Dark can't quite find it. Captain Twig dives in deep, looks for iDavy. Damage there, but no escape. Gonna catch the RDO. Bring him back. Can they bring him down? Dark re-engages into the backline. This is full anarchy. It's Anarchist Anonymous, and everybody's wearing name tags.
C-Host comes back just in time to help bail out the rest of the squad. Yor has respawn, and Captain Twig misses an unfortunate heal for him. Tried to go for the Thor. Tried to heal off of Dark with that first ability, but Dark gets to the sky milliseconds before that heal connects. And so Captain Twig doesn't get the heal value, loses out on that 200 extra HP that would have been so nice to have for him, and instead goes down to the ultimate from iDavy afterwards, a little bit of extra follow-up. But the staggered respawn timers are actually benefiting Team Captain Twig so much in these fights because Captain Twig dies 40 seconds before all this initiation goes on. He's able to respawn with the 1 living member of his team to help defend the Titan. And because C-Host died another 20 or so seconds later, he's able to join in at crucial moments. Staggered respawn timers are really nice when you're trying to push for an objective on the side of Team iDavy.
Sure.
When you're going for these weird staggered kills, trying to push for the end, if you're not quick enough on your end, that's when it comes back to bite you, just like we saw there. Sure, Team iDavy still gets a few extra kills during that one. They get some decent damage on the Titan as well, but if Captain Twig didn't respawn during all of that, they likely could have just gone for the end. They already took Stewie's bead. Stewie's Aegis comes shortly after that one, and there's not a whole lot that Hachi can do against 4 in a defense like that. So Team iDavy want to go for the end. Got to be a little bit quicker on the trigger this time.
Come up in 28 minutes, 21-19. About 7,000 gold is the difference. Items being finished up. We got our first Fatalis sighting as well, going to Ragna on that Charybdis, choosing to slot it last. A lot of discussion on where those Fatalis selections go. We'll see what the difference here is. And Ragna's been doing a lot, J-Mac, so there's potential.
It's such a weird item because you would think, okay, cool, I get haste, I get to run really fast, is great. It's such a heavy gold investment, I believe 2,600 gold for this item. And it's got the stats of essentially old Toxic Blade plus haste is essentially what you get. See if it works out for him. Captain Twig in a bit of danger here as Dark jumps in.
Landing is good. The bat out of hell is the response. Twig not going to die quite yet, but no escape did catch. On the way out for Twig to bring him back. Is the damage there? Yes, it is. Dark has another. Team iDavy is cooking up a storm in this mid-Phoenix, but is the damage from C-Host going to be enough? That's 3 members, full health. Team iDavy not quite full, J-Mac. They're not ready to end. They're stepping towards the left Phoenix, and that was a chance for Team Captain Twig to go back in. Kojafox on the engage, does get brought low, has to jump back out. Captain Twig, though, they live to see yet another day.
Dark gets too low, heads back to base, and that's where a big brunt of this physical damage is coming from, is Dark. Sure, Ragna's doing some decent damage here on Hunter, your Hunters typically do, but if you still look at the difference between the two, almost 5,000 player damage more that Dark has done than Ragna so far. When your Thor's gone, when the ultimate's not available, your primary source of damage is there, heads back to base, and now Team iDavy can go for fire, but this isn't going to be entirely free. Members of Team Captain Twig already stepping up.
Kojafox has that controller in turbo mode to look for steal, but Dark goes in the back line. Koja, get back there! He's killing your whole team! And Team iDavy no, they don't get the fire! Fire went to Captain Twig! Somehow everything in this game continues to be anarchy. Kojafox hits everybody. Phoenix is back up. Fire denied, and you lose 3. This game is just out of control. They're supposed to be content creators, J-Mac. This isn't supposed to be this chaotic, surely.
That was a sick stun by Koji. I'm just going to put it out there. Gets the ult, stuns out 3 immediately after that one. Even crazier, the Fire Giant steal by Koja Fox, able to worm his way into the backline to take that one. Elder sneaks one off onto the damage, but it's 18 seconds till Sejos is back. It's all up to Elder.
And Elder's already used the beads. Dark going in for the kill, gets the stun, and that's the dagger. Team iDavy should and will take game number 1, and they do it through full-blown chaos.
That was one of the more back and forth games that we have seen in the Content Creator Cup, and that's part of the nature of some of the changes that have come from the 9.5 revert in 11.6, the changes here in 11.7 with some of the new itemization, the changes on the map in general, allow for these more back and forth, just all-out brawl style of games to play out this one. It really wasn't until that last little bit of the game that we started seeing any real significant leads. I mean, sure, we had XP in favor of one side for a great portion. I mean, you look at Ragna, you look at Dark, they're 3-4 levels up in the early and mid game. But once everybody's hitting 20, those leads don't really matter. Yeah. The gold never really went beyond 2, maybe 3,000 at any given point of the game up until the very bitter end at that point. So more than anything, it just comes down to the objective play. And unfortunately for Team Captain Twig, not the best around objectives, but we're able to hold this game out a little bit longer, delay things, and especially for Team iDavy, really able to kind of stop that previous Fire Giant engagement just from Dark and Ragna stepping up. Creates so much havoc, get that Fire Giant steal, and it turns the tides of what Captain Twig's squad was able to do just before.
Fire Giant steal. I didn't even notice it at first because I was so excited about Dark going into the backline. But that Fire Giant steal I thought was the glimmer of hope for Team Captain Twig, but just it wasn't that game. And there were so many things that didn't go the way we anticipated. Going back even to the desk, you know, they were looking at the aggression and the survivability that would come out from Team Captain Twig, but none of those things ended up to be the difference maker. It was just Team iDavy playing well at the end and making things work. But with that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more between Team iDavy and Team Captain Twig when we return.
you realize what you lost now. Hiding pressure never stop now, but I'm way too good at goodbyes. Bet you thought grass was green on that other side. Guess what? I'ma help you decide. Tattooed on my tears, no, I swear that you won't catch me cry. Got no reasons left to rewind. I gave you my word.
Ragnar and ADC.
Endurance or iDavy and I'm a sport.
Indu and I'm the mid. Que lo diga otra vez.
Dark and I'm the jungler.
Coach! The coach is the coach!
Yeah, camera kill and I'm sub. Sub off. Right, I wasn't a coach. I'm not saying that. No, go.
You have to say it.
Camera kill and I'm a coach.
Come on, countrymen in Euros. Countrymen in Euros. Probably.
We get the okay, what's more likely?
Us winning the SEC. Definitely us winning the SEC than England winning Euros.
Spain get pools.
Yeah.
Easy.
These guys obviously Spanish, so they're chilling. It's 3-0, 3-0, 3-0.
3-0 one way. When a minute game is 3-0 one way or the other.
We're running it down. All weekend actually.
Keys.
All weekend we're running it down. No problem.
Can someone go to grave and tell me, give me ADC, please? I don't want to support.
We give the rank on this. Just go over, flick his computer off.
Yeah.
He'll re-roll the queue. I'm Copino. Did you get baby queue? He got baby. He doesn't play. He's got 2 games now.
The captain. The captain.
I love you, Hazel. And yeah, I just wish you were here so I could kill you even more.
Casey lovers. Yeah.
It's never been done before.
What's the plan?
When was the last time you were in Vegas?
You want to host an esports event in Vegas for Smite. Smite 2. Now you're talking.
The hi-rez Arena, Las Vegas.
Some said it couldn't be done.
Are you guys out of your mind? The J Dragons winning worlds can't be beat. Not shouldn't be beat, it cannot be beat.
This January, see Smite like you've never seen before.
You clowns are gonna need a team even crazier than you. Who'd you have in mind?
Coming this January, Hindu Man's 11.
You're either in or you're out.
I'm in. SmiteEsports.com/Vegas is where you want to go for more information about our January Smite 2 live LAN fan event in Las Vegas. My goodness, I'm going to put it all on Black Gore. I've decided that my entire paycheck for that weekend.
All on black?
Yep.
And then what happens.
And then either I head home or I panhandle out on the strip.
And it's all in the one instance, so you're really putting a lot of your weekend on one moment.
Yeah, Erica at home, real confused at me
watching,
right now.
Just watching the bank account, like, what just happened
What
here?
just happened? The Smite 2 Founder Series, of course.
Smite 2.
Culminating.
What's this?
Or really beginning, depending on how you want to look at it. That live event in Vegas. Plenty more information to come. Gore, you are one of Hindu Man's 11. By the way. We had
yeah, my bid got cut.
Was it a
It
good
wasn't
bid?
even. No, honestly, it wasn't even. It was. My part was to like throw to the casters.
Yeah.
And
right.
And so he like filmed me throwing me to the casters. And I was like, you probably like we got VODs of this. If I did a bad take, we got extensive. Hey, time to go to your casters.
Do you remember what your line was?
It was now let's go to the casters, but I said it like a lot louder, and then I got told I was too loud and I was peeking the mic.
Got it.
Which happens a lot.
Well, go ahead. We'll give you your moment.
Oh, you want me to do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
But what if it's confusing? Because like, what if they think we're going to the
oh,
casters?
You're right.
Because it's a
You're
throw
right.
to the casters.
You're right. Terrible idea.
My favorite part about the original edit, though, and hopefully one day it'll. I think Tristan said he wants to put out his director's cut. Miff was just not in it, and he was real upset about it.
Yeah, but all right, I'm not going down that. I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
No,
at all.
we'll get in the group chat later and.
That's right. Super excited for Vegas. Hope to see you guys there, whether in person or online. Smite 2 just around the corner. But the Smite Content Creator Cup going on, and Davey, despite maybe some shakiness score, him and his team are able to pull out the win in Game 1. We had 2 FG steals, over 40 kills. I don't know if we got to 50 there by the end of it. Dark on one side, running things on the Thor. And then, surprisingly, the Jormungandr mid gore ended up being a thorn in the side of Team Davey.
There were a lot that enabled them. Seahost kept Captain Twig's team in the game, and then Twig enabled the team to go even further beyond. I mean, first off, like the healing itself is like 1800, but like when you are able to go up there, you're dealing 21k, which is second highest on your team already, and you are able to just tank as much as he was, CC as much as like the RDO was so good up front, and Twig really enabled the team to get a lot done, and Seahost followed through every single one of those moments. The downside was again that Davey's team wanted to fight; they were built to fight, and as long as they got a fight on their terms, that fight went incredibly well for them. And like you said, when you're looking at the Thor, Ragnar with his damage done as well, like they were getting the job done.
I think
just
you
took
could
a
tell.
little bit, a little warmer.
It felt like it just required that one perfect fight when all the cooldowns were not there for Twig's team and they were available for Davey's team. Because again, that backup reset style comp that we talked about, Twig drafting, actually worked for a lot of that game. You know, the Ares pulls, the Thor ults, kind of whiffing on a lot of it, and then eventually it was like everything was down, and now we can fight and steamroll you. But Davey won't care. I mean, it's still a 1 in the win column for him and his team. The 5-0 weekend dream still alive. I think Twig's team, though, Gore, maybe after a Game 1 loss, actually feeling okay with how things went. They're here to have fun.
Yeah.
They had fun, but maybe nearly won.
For someone who insinuated that it was going to be like a steamroll in the interview, like that went incredibly well, like to the point where they were in the Titan room several times, like knocking on Phoenixes several times. It just, again, a couple of bad flips around an FG, and that can really cement the game for the other team. And unfortunately for Twig, that's what happens there. But I think you could be way happier with that performance than what I was led to believe by him, what I was going to see. And so now I'm thinking if your team, Davey, probably got a couple new bans in your mind. Maybe that opens things up for Team Twig, and there's something else that you're going to have to deal with in Game 2. But I definitely think, like, after seeing the Yorm perform that way, like, maybe making Seahost a little more uncomfortable, making Twig a little more uncomfortable could be a pretty big deal to change the pace of the game in your favor.
I'm trying to remember, and I'm sorry, Gore, I'm going completely sideways. During that Meet Team Davey segment, one of the questions, and you and I were just
I was
chatting.
in there for it, so hopefully I can remember.
One of the questions was, what's more important, winning Euros or winning the event?
There were two. It was kind of threefold, because I the first thing I asked was, Davey, how, like, if you make it to finals, like, how hard do you feel you need to win finals in order to make sure that you can see the Euros when it's going on?
Oh yeah, is that tomorrow?
Because it's tomorrow at 3,
Got it.
and that's exactly literally.
right
I was
there.
like, it's gonna be like right on the cusp, and he was like, it's a 3-0 either way. That's the way he started it.
Understood.
And I said, and then I think Tristan asked, like, which is more important? And he said, winning Euros.
Well,
and then I said, which is more likely? And he said, them winning SEC.
Them winning SEC. Well, we know Hindu Man is in the back, hoping for an England win.
For anyone
tomorrow as well.
wondering, I actually talked to him about this yesterday as well. Last time that the Euros was going on and England was doing well, Hindu was walking through the building constantly with an air of anxiety around him and a laptop in his hand.
Yeah, this is the great. The Copa America is also going on, and us Americans just don't have to worry about the USA. They didn't even make it out of the group, so we don't have to worry about that this weekend.
Big surprise.
At all. Let's dive into picks and pans.
Isn't their
for
women's
Game 2.
soccer team like really good though?
USA, they're very good.
Keep an eye on them.
That's right. Well, that's the only hope
Whenever
for
that
USA
is coming around
soccer
again.
/ football. Picks and bans for Game 2.
SCCC. It's a good time to watch.
It is a good time. And Team Davey, we flip-flopped here. So Captain Twig's team will be first pick. Bans largely unchanged, except that Jormungandr Gore, and that's a respect ban from Team Davey, because Seahost made life maybe a bit more difficult than Team Davey were expecting. And it surprised us, but it served its purpose. But Twig's mid laner is going to have to go to something a little bit different here in Game 2. First pick will be that Camazotz. Run it right back despite Game 1 loss.
I'm not surprised to see the Ares ban on the other side either, because that's...
Oh, yeah, right.
Again, when it comes down to things Davey plays real good, Ares was #1 on that list. Like, we would go in, you know, pre-games, and he would be in jungle practice slamming Odin bots with Ares chains, sometimes missing them, and, you know, we got to make sure he never lives that down. But he would be in there.
The Odin bots were moving, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
at least one of them. They weren't moving too erratically, though. But
Yeah, you hit a parked car every once in a while.
Yeah,
you know?
so
it's unavoidable.
He makes it work and makes it good. So he does have a few other picks. I'd mentioned the Sobek last time. Terra, I think, needs to be on there. Fafnir, and again a few others that Davey likes to play. But if they can get aggressive, Davey's gonna enjoy them. I wouldn't be surprised if like Sobek's pretty high on his list here. I don't know how Sobek is right now. I haven't gotten to play him because the patch has only been out for a few days, and I will admit that I've kind of realistically reverted into like a Maui one trick. So
Maui is fun. Maui is
fun.
good. Remember, in this era of Smite,
if I can hook somebody and I got someone behind me who's just gonna kill him in 2 hits, like do it, please.
Absolutely. Maman Brigitte for Captain Twig's team. I assume that'll be mid lane.
Yeah.
And I only have to assume because it's been a unique drafting period for Captain Twig's squad. And Yearlong Shen was banned out in Game 1, but it'll make its way into Team Davey's comp for Game number 2, alongside the Morgan Le Fay. So there's some shred already being built up for Team iDavy, and hoping to make quick work of Team Captain Twig here. Send him home with a 2-0 loss.
I'm a little, I guess not too surprised, because the Morgan Le Fay did good damage, had good presence in that last game.
Yeah.
Wondering, and I don't know, maybe it's just because the Jormungandr as a mid lane was like so overshining. So I want to see maybe something a little better. Also, again, you know, we had this conversation, or at least I was thinking about it. Maybe it came out, maybe it didn't. But like Aim Blue has had like a few gods that were like on the checklist over the last few months, and like, you know, Agni again recently got some nerfs, and so being able to go in for the Morgan Le Fay, which was another one of their kind of go-to picks, I think is going to work well. As well as I feel like, I don't know if I remember them going to Nuwa or if my brain's just supplying like false memories. But if they did, also got a little bit nerfed. So like there were a couple things that changed that I think for Aim Blue kind of smacked them down a little bit. And so I'm just excited to see if they can make this pick look a little better, especially now that you don't have to face what was a very monstrous Jormungandr throughout a lot of that game.
I'm interested to see if Team Captain Twig still has fun. That's what I'm interested in here, Gore, for Game 2. A lot of support bans. Sad to see the Bacchus go. I'm always a fan of watching the belly flops and the burps and the initiation. But it'll have to go by the wayside. However, if anyone ever tuned into the Dave to Diamond streams when I was back crushing Smite ranked, never made it to Diamond, by the way. Mulan, one of my favorite gods ever.
That's in playtests, often, if they threw us in solo, I would play Bologna because that was my comfort pick. You'd play Mulan. And we'd just kind of smack each other for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you know why I liked it? Because I could heal myself a bit. I'm really bad at like timing trades. And so having something in that kit to just...
You got a grapple that pulls you away, and then a little thing that can give you some
Get me away and heal me up. And if I can do those two things, which is probably the opposite of what you want to do on Mulan, right? Early in the game, you kind of want to go in and bully, but I'm always running the opposite direction. But I think to wrap up this point, an opportunity and maybe an area on the map for Team Davey to get aggressive.
Yeah, I really like Mulan, and I think it's a pick that has grown on me. I really liked her when she first came out, and to the point where I think it was wrong you played her support a few times, and I really wanted that to become a thing, but it was just not a meta for warrior support. I like what Mulan can bring, though, right? She's got CC, she's got good damage, her ultimate is again, big, impactful, and like you said, you've got some self-survivability, so I really like the idea of her. Again, I kind of want to see maybe a little more to back her up. She should have enough damage on her own, but, you know, Morgan Le Fay, like, what kind of damage you're going to be packing if you get a really good pull or any sort of knock-up. Same thing like Erlong Shen, being able to follow up with, like, a pin and then a knock-up of your own and just make it so they can't play the game for a little bit could be pretty solid.
Apwash.
So at least one person in chat who happens to be named Opwash, is also
is
probably really stoked right now.
Yeah. Actually tweeted at me after the Vegas video came out. Opwash is having a great day.
I was gonna say
right now.
we got Dave back, we got Opwash getting picked. Like, it is a great Saturday.
Are we figuring this is support Opwash? All things considered here, Gore.
Oh man, wait.
Yeah, right. Is it going to be a terrible day though? By the end of the game, ends up being the question.
Okay.
Going against a Charon, presumably. Remember, this is all through the lens of Team Captain Twig having fun, right? This is all through that lens.
If I'm,
it's where you have to angle your analysis.
I'm not Myth, so I'm not a betting man. Which sucks that I'm going to Vegas because like that's the whole thing. That's like
That's
kind
the
of their
whole
whole deal. We'll figure that out when we're there. So certainty, I can lock in. Hachi, that dude's a carry. He's going in the duo lane.
Sure is.
Vibe check wise for the rest of it, I'm starting to think like Kamazot's solo, Ardio support, Maman jungle, and Opwash mid. But you can swap a few of those around and still keep like you could probably throw a Maman support and just demolish their duo lane like it's nothing because you've got damage. But the problem is like her scaling is really weird for that because like the first couple of levels, I can believe in you. And then you got a little bit before I can believe in you again. Right. Like you hit that level 12 mark, I'm back on board. So I wouldn't mind seeing her somewhere where you could farm up. I wouldn't mind like if you wanted to do Kama jungle again, run that back, and then throw a Maman into like solo. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but we've seen it work in mid. So, you know, there's maybe something to play on. You've still got kind of like the double assassin play. You know what? Screw it. Just throw Opwash jungle. Yeah, let's have some fun. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. Would it be really fun and throw everything for an absolute curveball? Yeah, you bet it.
Gormizer, we finally get players back in studio, and one of them picks a band skin right off the bat. So we're gonna remake.
Classic.
I know.
Man, okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Plushy
it's Plushy Ardio for Koja Fox. I was kind of hoping it was Twig, and I was gonna be like just classic SPL.
That is classic SPL and classic Twig. Although
we're so back, baby.
Was Twig? I don't know if Twig was often the perpetrator of.
No, because Twig.
We had a few players who would always.
I want to throw someone under the bus because I feel like Saw did it a lot.
Well,
it was like the Warriors as a team.
Right. Well, but if you think of that squad, that Warriors team, just such fans of the game and all their favorite skins or their favorite.
They played
like
a lot of
If there's any team who I'm assuming is picking their favorite skin, regardless of whether it was banned or not, is that Warriors team. I also want to let you know before we get back to analysis here. I was awake at like 2 or 3 in the morning the other night, and I was in bed. I wasn't just gamer hours. I was actually trying to sleep. And the weight of reality was kind of setting in on me, so I was up and awake. And I thought about how all of us casters predicted the Warriors to be last in, what was that, season 10?
At the beginning of the year.
Right, and they ended up going to Worlds Finals and having the longest SPL win streak of all time. I was thinking about that the other day, and that shame will never
You're just
let
like,
me
man,
down.
I was so wrong.
Right, that shame will, and I was like, man, if I was wrong about that, What
else
have
am I
been
wrong about? Like I was so wrong about that.
I saw Ramsey at the foot of the bed. Was I wrong about you? No, it was never that one.
See, you had something to bring you back. You were gonna start spiraling.
Right, and my dog really recentered me. And let's recenter maybe on these drafts a bit here, Gore. I've talked about how I'm a fan of Mulan. Admittedly, Charon joined the scene a bit after my competitive days. Mm-hmm. What's the breakdown on this character? Has it been doing good, bad, world beater?
Okay. SPL wise,
yeah,
he was picked a ton. Garbage stats. I mean, that guy lost so much. It was insane. But you'd ask anybody about him. You could ask Roar, PBM, any of the top supports, and they are going to swear by how good Charon was. And then you'd go look at it and be like, all right, cool. He has a 20% win rate. So, like, someone's lying to me here. Right. And I think the results of the game are not. And so he had a lot of merit behind him. And I think it was just, like, maybe the air about, like, the way Smite was being played. Maybe there was just a lot of presence. Maybe it wasn't him at all. Maybe he was having great games. It's just his team sucked. and he had some trouble on the side. I will give Davey credit, though, because while I keep touting his Ares, and I completely forgot about Charon was his number 2 for a long time. Not only was it his number 2, it found a lot of success for him in support. So, like, this is a god that he has gone to quite a few times this year. This is a god that he has played incredibly well this year. And if we're looking for something that's going to, like, enable him to be aggressive, this enables him to be aggressive, right? Yep. You can roll it literally down at them. You've got your ranged autos. But the thing is, and this has been fun, like, Charon highlights are always just one of my favorites, but even if you're not getting the, haha, you backed before the wave hit you, but then I hit you while you were in base and you died anyway, even if you're not getting that, which is really, really rare, you're still getting a massive ult in a team fight that is going to CC a lot of people. Like, it's going to cause tons of disruption.
Yep.
I'm looking at Twig's team. A lot of those dudes want to be close, at least a little bit, right? They want to be in zone. And so, you know, the Opwash doesn't have a lot of mobility. He's going to have to start running away or be very well positioned for all of these fights. Hachi's going to have to use his dash to potentially kind of disengage or at least be far away. But, like, Maman, Kama, Ardio, if you get aggressive and Charon is nearby, Davey is going to turn that fight around on you, and it's going to make it very difficult when you have a Charybdis, an Erlong, and a Mulan then following up on it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it here from Team Davey. So often we see, and I'm certainly far beyond trying to predict any of these outcomes, but you will, in matchups where even the players themselves have sort of predicted a walloping on one side, you'll see kind of a close, contested, back-and-forth game one where the really favored team kind of squeaks things out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doors just fly off.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, we know how to win.
Right, we know how to play. We're warmed up a bit. Could see that from Team Davey here. But I've actually got instilled confidence in the fun havers and Team Captain Twig over on the other side. They're playing loose with nothing to lose, and maybe that gives them an edge here in game number 2. I was, during our conversation, though, Gore, again, to detract, I'm in rare form already. There was it Ho Yi that had like a super high pick rate, but then like it was like
for a long time,
5%
yeah.
win rate.
He
for
was
a
getting
little while.
locked in, and he was.
Was that season 9 maybe?
I feel yes, because I can't remember who it was that kept taking him, but like I know Zap went to him a few times, but like it wasn't just like one guy really trying to make it work.
It was like 1 in 19 or
3
something.
or 4 dudes, and he just lost all the time. I felt so bad.
Yeah, sort of. Sitting back down and getting back into the throes of analysis and breakdown, it rewinds the brain a bit, and I try to connect past happenings with what's happening now is I don't know, some sort of weird brain mechanism. And I was reminded of a really deep conversational segment we had about Ho Yi and how he went like 1 in 20 at some point. People were still picking him, he just wasn't winning, and we couldn't figure out why. And I don't think we ever did figure out why.
It's that weird balance of like, okay, people are picking him, and we've been told that he's really good.
Right.
And so then it's like, oh, we can't figure out why they're losing. But after a certain point, it transitions from I can't figure out why they're losing to I can't figure out why you're still picking him because he's losing all the time. And that happened with Ho Yi one year, and then that was Charon last year.
Charon for a little while.
He did win some games. I can't remember which games, but he did win some. He just wasn't doing it a whole lot.
Well, I think Charon's got a great opportunity to increase the win rate to 100% here on the Smite Content Creator Cup Finals.
Especially in Season 11.
That's right. one for one.
When you start to narrow down your stats, it starts looking real good.
Right, a smaller opportunity to get those wins, but maybe one here. Don't you worry, game number 2 just around the corner here, getting the players back into the lobby, back into the game. And remember, it was what, Plushie Ardio, we said, was the band skin.
Yeah.
So we're naming and shaming Koja Fox for delaying things here for game 2. Hopefully not delaying the inevitable. I mean, Team Captain Twig would love to see things pushed to a game 3. Remember, Team Davey playing on behalf of the Atlanta Humane Society. And so all the animals, dogs, cats, whatever else you can get at the Atlanta Humane Society, all watching this game with bated breath. I do want to talk a bit about the Opwash score, talking about poor win rates. I feel like over the years we have not seen...
Yeah, historically not
momentous
the
success.
Best god.
Right.
Well, but it's so weird, and this happens a lot. Like, we saw a Chang'e ban, and so I can loop her into the conversation as well, where, like, there are gods that, like, in today's day and age of Smite and the way things are played, it's hit or miss how well they're going to do. But then, you look at Opwash in, like, Season 4, Season 5, like, he was absolutely controlling everything. Maybe it's his time again.
Maybe. We'll find out, Goran. Game number 2. Team Davey, Team Captain Twig with your casters, Anthony Malum and J-Mac.
Thank you, guys, and in-game we go. Captain Twig, the fun haver, is looking to have some fun and try to get something changed, something different, something better. Team iDavy looking to recapture what worked so well in the previous game. J-Mac, there's a lot to look at, a lot that I'm kind of hoping goes a bit different for Captain Twig, but early, what's got your main focus?
Immediately, I'm looking towards Captain Twig piloting the Mammon over in solo lane. That might be the first time that we've seen that god thrown over in that lane in a competitive matchup. Typically, it was the jungle or the mid lane. But in solo, it's going to play relatively the same as mid, though I imagine going to be a little bit tankier in some of the build, right? We do see an immediate Vampiric Shroud already started up, which means going to have a lot of sustain over there. And Mammon is one of those gods that is going to take time to get online. It's going to take some time before this god is ready to go into kill mode. These early first, I want to say probably 8 to 10 levels are just surviving. Get your items, get a few levels to yourself, get some XP on board, and then you're good to go. But it's going to take quite some time for Captain Twig. Big buff that did actually come over to Mammon this patch. Whenever we changed some of the way that abilities and healing worked, originally you couldn't heal off of that party trick, that first ability from Mammon, brought it in, reduced the healing, and the god kind of fell off because she wasn't getting the full heal value in jungle. Now getting that 100% heal value on that first ability for her means that her sustain is a whole lot better. So over in the solo lane, having that extra bit of sustain might just keep you alive, but fighting into a Mulan is one of the probably toughest matches that you can have to fight into right now.
Definitely a unique matchup. It's still one that is fun to see. Dark poked down in mid lane, does have to step back. And in that mid lane is the topic of discussion, I'm sure. Shout out the namesake person and the namesake god, Apwash. I haven't seen one myself in way too long. I love watching that character, and I missed it, J-Mac. I'm so happy it's in-game.
Yeah, we do get a little bit of Apwash mid. Curious to see how the build path is for Apwash, because a lot of his old itemization that made him really strong has been nerfed, which is why we don't really see him in solo lane anymore. A lot of things like the Pythags piece, not quite as potent any longer. So I wonder if he goes into a more of a cooldown style of route, or just full glass cannon style of build this guy. I mean, Apwash can do a ton of damage, and as long as an Apwash gets at least one rotation of kit, plus an ultimate dropped in the middle of a team fight, you've essentially done your job. It's almost like the Naja effect where, okay, I dropped my ultimate, I dropped at least my rotation. As long as we get a kill, we're good. I can die, I can go 0-15 in a game, but I got my damage out there. Sejos is one you're going to have to keep eyes on, but being an Apwash means he's very immobile and a very easy target, and will just be food for Dark if he steps too far out of line.
Twig low, but aggressing because backup is there in the form of Elder. They combine. It's a first blood for Captain Twig over the solo lane. Dark is here on the Erlang, but is he there in time? He has Blink online. No, he doesn't. It's down. Oh no, but Twig doesn't see him, and Twig sees gray now, J-Mac. That is that's tough, especially after such a nice first blood.
And the first blood, the first blood gank was nice. That had to have just been a case of Captain Twig turned his camera a little too fast away from the jungle, and just didn't see an Erlang Shen pop up. Or maybe he did, and he just said, well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well get some farm. You did see him throw out that Madame Fangs just a moment before he goes down to clear out that minion wave, so doesn't go down entirely. Poorly? I don't know a good way to say that. Well, this time he does. This time it was poorly, because now there's two people there to kill him.
Word works when you go down. Again, that's now 2 deaths for the Mammon after grabbing that first blood bonus for Team Captain Twig. And it turns into a blue buff invade as well, but a green buff invade in front of our eyes. Koja Fox does get the stun on iDavy, who's in real deep and on their lonesome and doesn't even get the green buff. So down goes Davey, Team Captain.
Captain Twig, the only deaths for his team so far. iDavy squad spreads the love a little bit in deaths. One for Yor and one for iDavy. But I'm curious to see which of these 2 items that Yor built into on the Mulan. Do we get the Shield of the Phoenix, get you the extra sustain, the tankiness, or is it going to be that more popular Shifter Shield right now, which gives you the immense amount of defense right out the gate, plus that boost of power, and then the defense, depending on which side of the threshold that you're on. Maybe a little bit before we see that. I'm curious as to which one of those. You can honestly probably just go both of them if you really wanted to rush into it. As shown earlier, I mean, Yor's not worried too much about just Captain Twig's damage. It really does need Elder to kind of help him out there and getting that kill. So Mulan kind of gets a bit of free reign in this lane. And as you saw with the rotation from Dark earlier, just shows that you can absolutely run at one of these mages. It is still a mage at the end of the day, the Maman Brigitte. It's not like you're fighting another Guardian. Because, I mean, just look at the damage that Yor can do. Captain Twig throws out 3-4 abilities and does half of Yor's HP. Meanwhile, Yor hits a single grapple and an auto, and it's over a quarter of Twig's.
It's no fun. Elder lurking, trying to continue that lack of fun for Yor. No teleport on that Mulan, so if they keep killing her over and over, it's going to hurt certainly. But meanwhile, mid lane, the Upwatch, come on, we were all so happy to see him. Leave him alone. Dark will get the credit for the kill on the Seahos, and Yor did get pushed back, and now the dive might just commence. They looked for it, but Yor completely out of dodge. No interest whatsoever. Dude said, get me out of here.
And Blue and Dark rotate over. Blue buff still a ways out. You're going to go for the 1v1, pops the Thorns against Twig. Can Twig even take this fight?
Twig's caught so deep and might just go down, but Twig and Elder are still throwing. Twig no more. Will go down to aim Blue. Elder on the escape, not having the greatest time, but does still have Bat Out of Hell online, so should still be good to get away. It's not going to stop iDavy from chasing him all the way for Koja Fox. Enough to keep him safe. They got real deep there, J-Mac. No fear whatsoever from the jungle solo combo.
Yeah, it might be a bit too deep this early in the game. I mean, Yor's got defense online, which makes it harder for Yor to be killed just in general, especially when the penetration wasn't quite online for Elder or Captain Twig at that point. Twig still doesn't have any pen in the build. It's just power and sustain at this point. And diving that deep, if you know that it's just going to be the 2v1, is fine, but this early in the game, it's so easy for rotations to happen. And trying to take that a bit risky. Now maybe a turn and burn back here for Captain Twig.
Koja Fox, big interest in fighting with Twig, and all the damage will combine, and Seahos is the one who pulls away with the kill on the Yor. They'll chase Dark too to the tower line. No fear again. Dark down again. This is going great for Captain Twig's team so far. J-Mac, I feel like every time I start to hype up iDavy and look at things they're doing great. We saw the purple buff invade come out from Ragda. I get pulled back into being a believer for Team Captain Twig just because I like the style that they drafted this time.
This has been a weird one, to say the very
weird.
least. Like this is almost like a replica of what happened in Game 1 minus the kill distribution. This one a bit more even, but it's that back and forth brawl style of play. Whereas Game number 1, Captain Twig's team was a little bit tankier by nature of having triple Guardian. You're able to sustain a little bit more, really kind of sit back and wait for iDavy's team to come towards you. Captain Twig's roster goes for a little bit more aggressive of a play. Sure, at Upwatch, maybe not the most ideal when you want to play that aggression because of how immobile he is. But if you're just going to run at them and have 3v3s in the jungle, this is a perfect team to do so, especially if you have Koja Fox nearby. That heal that Aryo gets from her first ability can heal your allies as well if they're close enough. And this early in the game, having that level of sustain is so massive.
Mounted Archer is forced in duo, in solo. Twig throwing hands despite being low. There's the C's. Koja Fox is here. Yor's in trouble. Gonna have to use the ult to get away, but gets caught by everything else and goes down. 5th kill for Captain Twig's team. They're continuing it up. There's a blink from Dark looking for Seahos. That outflash is just so immobile indeed. Can't move in a gray screen whatsoever. Aim Blue with that one. Now the fight looking for more as well. And Team iDavy actually seeing the light the fight until Koja Fox the big stun. There's the sticks. Jumped by Elder. Koja Fox going low. Elder not going back in. Double kill for Aim Blue. Twig gonna go down as well. Dark with that one. The Bat Out of Hell gets used. Is there anything with this, or is Elder just dead? He gets away, but man, that was a tough one.
That jump wasn't up for Elder, or if the pin would have even been available for Dark, might have been an opportunity for another kill, but just such an awkward fight there for Team Captain Twig. They expend so much in the previous fight, Captain Twig's ultimate to try and get that they really don't. What are you doing, Raga? Why is he even looping? Oh, he does steal it too. That's the ultimate insult, is you literally walk through their jungle, grab their buff, pull it through their tower, and then have it dropped in front of his face. Not a great time there for Stewie on the Hachiman. Yor, unfortunately, as well, going back to the previous fight, fell victim to what we call the unfortunate part of playing Mulan. That ultimate is really good for peel, but if you have to use it for self-peel when there's 3 around you, it's not fun having to root yourself in place to hold on to the CC immunity. The knock-up is great, unless they've got CC immunity too. Then they just do what Captain Twig did and just toss out that giant orb immediately afterwards. and then you're just kind of a sitting duck at that point. Yours going to take a little bit before he can really get online, use the ultimate again, but I think this is the right play by Elder. Just camp this soul lane a bit. Make it difficult for this Mulan to get online. Make your really sit back and have to farm to come back up. Because otherwise, it's starting to look a bit dire for the other team here.
Captain Twig, his team dives in deep. Elder down, and shouldn't be long. Captain Twig joins. Double kill for Aim Blue. Team iDavy, they love to rumble in the jungle. It's their whole thing. They have no fear. And you know what the scariest part is too, J-Mac? We're coming up on 10 minutes now. It's 9-5 for Team iDavy. They're working with 2,300 gold, 6,500 experience. And I'm looking at Ragna, who has yet to rotate to anything, but has a 3-level lead on Stewie. I mean, Stewie's got a better poker face than me. I'd be smacking my desk. There'd be keys flying everywhere. It'd be a mess.
Oh, we gotta have a Stormseeker game this time. Item before, let's be real. On release, not a great item. Nobody outside of like solo laners who are trying to have some fun to get to max stacks.
I'll see you guys in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they're like, I'll see you guys in 20, 30 minutes when I'm at like 400 stacks maybe.
Davey will see you guys in no time at all.
Gets
away with the row your boat safely to the tier 1. Dark will follow as well. Maybe considered something on Elder, with Elder being down 2 levels, but didn't want to overplay any hands, force any fights. We saw iDavy do the same thing in the previous game. When they got ahead, they didn't take unnecessary fights. The only person who really seems to is Ragna, because Ragna was like, oh, this is my purple. This is my tier 1, correct? This is all mine over here on the left-hand side.
Here's Gold Fury, apparently, while Bull Demon is being done by Team Captain Twig. iDavy squad rotates over to Gold. Can Stewie weave in a shot to steal? No, not quite. Barrier.
Get it.
A little bit too early, so iDavy get the objective. Ragna stepping forward. Trying to steal purple, but also trying to get... Look, if I'm Ragna, I'm going for Stormseeker stacks. That's what I want to go for. You don't get them by running away.
Just turn and start autoing. There it is.
Always.
Goja Fox going to turn that right joystick around and starts getting away. No interest in fighting with Ragna and giving more Stormseeker sacks. That's kind of the big thing. Now at 12, that's going to be my watch. You talked about Captain Twig on the Prophetic Cloak. My watch is that Stormseeker. Where do we get? You want to get to around 100 stacks, a bit more, before it really starts to cook up, right?
Yeah, the optimal number is to at least get to the 100. That's where you get a good amount of value from it. Though the item itself, its base numbers did get a pretty hefty combo of buffs. Captain Twig loses ultimate. It's Dark diving the tower for him, though.
But where's the combo of abilities? Elder and Twig have been fighting separate so far, and iDavy is still standing forward. Yours should go down being that low, but Bat Out of Hell wasn't the thing to do it. The Screech got it, and now Dark in some serious trouble, but does have backup in the form of Aim Blue, and Dark brings down Captain Twig, the 6th death for the Maman. Elder might be soon to follow, Dark diving in, but has to turn around with the tower shots and the slow, but Aim Blue trying to have their back. Dragon fight, no, and finally, the dot will do it, and Elder will go down.
Meanwhile, Davey throws out the tidal wave from mid lane and is instead battling over for the Stitch and Beacon. Does have some backup from Aim Blue on the way, but Davey's too low to really step forward to this one, so going to have to give up that first Beacon spawn. Heck of a brawl over in the solo lane, back and forth between them. You see Goja Fox running forward, but gets hit by that Dragonflight, and that'll be the end of discussion there. To pull the topic completely away while we have a moment.
I'm all about that.
Checking out the titles here on I'll Say Host and Goja Fox. Content Connoisseur. Now you at home can get one of those titles yourself. All you gotta do is be tuning into the broadcast all day today, all day tomorrow, and you can earn one of those titles yourself, exclusive to our event here.
I mean, how could you not? Little old me, J-Mac, Gore, Dawson back here. How could you not tune in on today? This is the day to tune in. Plus tomorrow, oh man, all the gameplay for the Content Creator Cup. All the gameplay in this one, not much has gone and changed too much. We're still sitting around those same numbers, but Team iDavy, I feel like it's calm before the storm, J-Mac. They love taking fights. Anytime they can find one in the jungle, in mid, potentially too.
Well, big fear for Aim Blue. Peels Goja Fox off him for the time being. Elder, though, does miss out on that Vampiric Batch. It means it's the end of the dive over in mid, but the start of the dive may be over on the left side of the map. Tier 1 tower does go down, 2 rotating over to really keep Stewie behind. A 3-level deficit for the Hunters. It's gonna make it so difficult, really, for Stewie to do much of anything until that level 20 is achieved for him. Koja Fox rotates over, but it's a level 11 Artio versus a 15 and 16.
Oh man, the 2v2 with the blue buff goes real good for Captain Twig. Blows up iDavy with that corpse explosion. Corpse explosion, that's not wash. But man, Captain Twig's team, when they do look good in their fights, when Elder and Captain Twig are combining for the right kind of energy in their fights and actually combining and having some synergy, J-Mac, it looks so great. The problem feels like a lot of time they've been disconnected.
You're being double dove under tower. Is a little bit tankier now, has some of that magic defense online in the form of the Ansile on Chile, on Chile, whichever way you want to pronounce the item.
I like in Chile for, you know, selfish reasons. If you watch Casual Friday, that was what I rocked with, and it brought me luck at least in Jeopardy. Coach of Fox, I could share my luck if I had the ability, but none this time. So enjoy the Graycation in the meantime. Aim Blue, unstoppable. That means 7. That means a dangerous MLF, and Captain Twig figuring out the same thing. Looking in that mid lane will seize and be able to get away.
Tidal Wave? Well, Seihost, okay. Good guy Seihost walks in to give the stack to Davey, but Davey's already max magic stacks on Prophetic, so it literally didn't do anything except for give Davey some damage. Pyromancer started up by Team iDavy. As well as just, again, these awkward momentum battles between these two teams where kills are in favor of Team iDavy. It's Captain Twig's team that's really starting out these brawls. Twig goes in, throws out that explosion of souls to try and get things going, jumps into an enemy at one point, and then everybody seems to be running into the brick wall of Aim Blue. And that feels weird to say that Morgan Le Fay is the brick wall, but these Sigil Fears have been so on point for Aim Blue. It stopped multiple dashes, multiple engagements. Not much to say for Yor here. He's just being camped in solo lane. Unfortunate part for him. But Aim Blue
looks nice though. Very good structure.
Aim Blue is the one that has to be focused for Team Captain Twig if they want to start winning team fights. Because being at the 7-0, stat line is great. You've got that Staff of Mirrodin online now, which is going to be so great for this Morgan Le Fay come team fights.
So great indeed, but we'll have to wait. Captain Twig ready to fight some more and bringing the team along. Aim Blue is here, though. That's been the problem child for Team Captain Twig. Will continue to be. Not so far this time. It's actually working okay. The Summon Sticks as well will slow it down. They have yet to kill Dark and iDavy. Team Captain Twig not deterred, but Aim Blue will clean up Twig. Despite Koja diving, dashing after Dark, will just now bring him down. And now with the blink from your Koja Fox, wasn't long for this world. 14 kills for Team iDavy. What I was gonna say before, Stormseeker check, 18 stacks.
Yeah, it's not gone far. Yeah, I don't imagine we'll see that really stack until we start getting some more late game team fights of any kind here. Primal Fury will be good for Team iDavy. The thing I just got to point back out to that team fight was keeping eyes on Aim Blue that entire time. He ults in the middle of 3 people, gets some decent sustain back by hitting a couple of members with those slash shots from that ultimate. And then what does he do? He walks through 2 people.
I was gonna say, it felt like he was able to stand in the middle.
He walked through 2 people to kill Captain Twig. Walked past them, almost like they held the door open for him and said, all right, Captain Twig, I hope you can juke the one ability you need to juke. And he didn't. Aim Blue lands that wildfire. And the dot is end up getting the kill there, puts number 8 on the board for Aim Blue. And then he goes back a little late to the party to keep Koja Fox from killing his teammate. But gets another Dragonfly, it helps to get the setup once more. This Morgan Le Fay is something that's going to have to be looked at as the tournament keeps going on.
Team iDavy on the Stigi B. Ragna here in force, ready to get some stacks on that Stormseeker, daring Team Captain Twig to step up. But no interest. It'll be a Stigi B for Team iDavy. And they'll step up after. Summon Sticks will come out too. It looks like they want this tier 1 in the mid lane. There's a re-engage, knowing Captain Twig is behind. Where's the explosion of souls? Will you have that damage? It's going to be short and can't bring down iDavy. Now Team Captain Twig find themselves chasing, but that chase is working out. But again, Aim Blue pulls through. Divine. Now, you have to pay attention to the MLF. She will just bring you down. A double kill. That time, 10 in total. And Seahost not long for this world either. A double kill for Ragna and about 22 stacks-ish.
So that's the closest that Aim Blue has gotten to death. And he essentially still got to free cast. Oh, this is a play.
You sound confident.
This is a play. Unfortunate for Aim Blue, he can't really join in on this. He just kind of has to sit on the outskirts of the Fire Giant pit and throw damage because he's going to die to the Ring of Fire if he walks too far forward.
So instead, Fire Giant does go to Team iDavy. It's not that I didn't have confidence they could do it. It was more so my worry for Aim Blue if he was going to step in the pit. Did not, thankfully.
Be cool if the Fire Giant got a shut
Wait,
down.
Captain
Twig! Captain Twig, he gets caught though! The dash goes wide right, he's still able to bring down Aim Blue. So despite the awkwardness, the shutdown gold still goes to the Maman. That was closer than it should have been for the lazy back.
The Aegis nearly saves Aim Blue. Aim Blue is sitting here going, if I had 5 more seconds, if we're one more team fight later, I've got AT, that alternate timeline, just now built on the death for Aim Blue. If he had that there, he lives. And Captain Twig comes up empty-handed. I mean, gets a hefty cooldown away from him at that point. But that's the benefit that the Maman Brigitte has. You throw out that party trick, you get that dot, and they say, okay, cool, I'm going to Aegis that. Here's the thing. That thing has multiple charges to it. You have 100 fuel to use, and most players are only using 5 to 10 per usage on average of that fuel, so you got plenty more chances to try. Captain Twig just waits out the Aegis a bit, throws out another dot on him, and ends up getting the kill along with the Soul Spike. So, good shutdown for Captain Twig. Shuts down the 10-0 Morgan Le Fay.
And look what it's done to the scoreboard. Now 11-19 for Team iDavy, and their gold is still sitting incredibly comfortably, J-Max, sitting at that 5,200 mark. Experience 8,000, but level 20s are starting to come through. As everyone likes to say, you only hit level 21 singular time, so that's a positive for Team Captain Twig. Stewie got a lot of farm in that dual lane in these last couple fights as well. Not quite level 20, but at least getting farm in pocket. Now rotates around mid with the rest of Team Captain Twig as they let Ragnar get a tier 2 for free in the dual lane. That shouldn't have been that free, no?
Not a whole lot that they can really do to stop without expending too many extra bodies. Captain Twig pulled back in, goes down to Aim Blue.
His body for sure. With Aim Blue having the one, Team iDavy want more. They step up aggressive, and they've got Captain Twig's team in their sights, and they're going down. With Seost gone, Koja Fox barely alive, turns around, watches Stewie die, and joins him not long after. Only Elder will stand, and it's only it's 21 minutes in the game, and it's Phoenix knocking time. Team iDavy are cooking.
Waiting for that minion wave to show up. Dark doesn't care. He'll take the 1v1 under the throne room against Elder. Puts him down to a quarter HP, backs up, and there goes the Phoenix on left side. But I think it's a bit too early. Respawns a little too quick for Team Captain Twig to want to commit for anything more beyond there. But it is the best Phoenix to take if you want to go for your next Fire Giant. Forces somebody to stay on that side of the map. Fortunately for Captain Twig, even though is playing a full damage dealer in the Maman Brigitte, did go at least towards that teleport, so has the means to be able to sit there, clear out those minions, and join the rest of the team. Downside of that means that he's lacking that secondary defensive that's oh so important for the Maman. You don't have that blink for initiation. You don't have the Aegis if you want to go that for your extra defense to stay alive. Banking just on the beads and the CC immunity from ult to really keep himself alive. We're starting to hit that dangerous part of the game. All this bullying and shutting down of the solo laner against on Team iDavy's team for Yor is about to really not matter that much. 3, 5, and 10, not a pretty slash line, but about to hit that level 20.
This is awkward.
Is ahead of Captain Twig as well. This might just be payback now.
Absolutely. There's the Spirit Seize. The ult's already down for Twig, and Twig will follow his ultimate.
Yeah, that probably felt real good.
Yeah, you know Yor is taking a sigh after that one. Definitely wanted that kill. And yeah, I thought it before when I saw Twig up by the iDavy blue buff, and he walked all the way back and was just confident in solo lane. And iDavy's rotating around as a unit now. You got to be a bit more careful.
Blink for blink. Not bad. Getting Camazot's blink is probably way more important than having your blink on Mulan just because of how much initiation that god has to begin with. Grapple, throw out your ultimate, pull Koja Fox right past the door as it opens up. Not going to be the worst thing in the world there. Just getting a little bit of subtle poke, but you have Seos on the Opwash. Fantastic god for base defense. Barely any team ever, I can't think of a single team comp that wants to fight into empty the crypts.
Elder already forced out of Bat out of Hell, so no ultimate, no blink for Elder, and now trouble is brewing as iDavy on that Phoenix line, but they're actually running into health bars of Captain Twig. The defense not bad quite yet. The Maw hungers though, and the Maw has eaten one. Ragnar's gonna handle another one. The Maw's still up, baby. Elder can't get away from iDavy. The Titan is now the focus, but Team iDavy have fallen low. They've got to play this siege correctly, if at all. Seahost and Stewie, J-Mac just said it. Seahost can defend. That's who you want, if anything.
Yeah, this is dangerous to continue sticking around. Luckily for them, Stewie doesn't have ultimate, so he can't just go up on mounted archery and get an easy triple kill here. We'll lose out on the Phoenix on the side of Captain Twig, so that's all 3 birds down. Real tough to defend for this next Fire Giant. Team iDavy getting maybe a little too aggressive around there. Not that they probably could have gone for an end at that point, but going for dives all the way towards essentially Fountain at that point. I mean, it's a nice reset for Ragnar during that fight with that Maw, but didn't have any kind of follow-up immediately after there. So for Team iDavy, their big win is getting those 3 Phoenixes, setting up for Pyro, setting up for Fire Giant. I don't think anybody on Team Captain Twig wants to try and step up to stop either of these objectives with all of their birds down at this point. This is now just how well can we defend our Titan? How long can we keep Team iDavy out of our base? My answer to that is as long as Seahost has an ultimate. But once that Bosch ult is down, it is so much tougher for Team Captain Twig.
There is a but there. Team Captain Twig are having a great time. I was looking at their cameras before while you were talking. All smiles. Seahost has leaned so far back that if he takes too big of a breath, he's going to fall over in his chair. So Team Captain Twig are having a great time. Captain Twig going to grab the tier 1 in duo, but maybe it's time to get back here soon as Team iDavy has grouped up to clean up the now respawning and now dead duo side Phoenix. They look poised to end the game.
All 5 here. Captain Twig on the rotation back. It'll be a full 5v5 at the Titan, waiting for minions to pour in. It's all on a Team iDavy to go for this push.
Summon Sticks comes out already. iDavy ready to end the game in 2-0. Team Captain Twig. Is there going to be a defense there? They've already forced them off the Titan, but Koja Fox falls too low and goes down. And look at the damage coming back through. A double kill for the Mulan. And Team iDavy cook up in the throne room. A triple kill for Yor. A double for Rain Blue. A deicide and a 2-0 victory over Team Captain Twig.
Nice little full house to end the game there for Team iDavy and a 2-0 over Team Captain Twig. You gotta look back to the history of iDavy's squad. Been sticking with these guys throughout the majority of this Content Creator Cup and has just been dominating the EMEA region. When you look back at them, this is the team consistently winning, finding those big W's in the finals, in their matchups every single time. This is for a lot of us out here, the team to beat. This is the one that you got to look at, especially being the lone EMEA representative. There's a lot of weight on their shoulder, but they're shown that they're resilient. I mean, you saw what happened to Yor for the first 10, 15 minutes of this game. It's dive his tower, kill him at tier 2, keep putting on this pressure to solo. But they're getting all this pressure solo and nothing anywhere else. And that's kind of the pitfall, is when you have your solo laner getting dove, you look on the opposite side, and what's Ragnar doing? He's 4 levels up on Stewie at that point. They just don't care.
Yeah, that was the only team that ever seemed like they gave iDavy a true challenge was Team Seagull, and iDavy was able to take them down to get here, J-Mac, and they just looked so great while doing it. But, man, what a game. 2-0 there for Team iDavy. Let's send it over to the desk to break this one down.
Appreciate it. Fellas on the cast, great job, and Gormizer, half the prophecy has now been fulfilled. It's already been foretold by Davey that they're going to 5-0 their opponents this weekend.
He foretold the whole thing.
Right, he foretold the whole thing. The first 2/5 of that have now been fulfilled. The 2-0 over Team why am I having such a hard time with Team Captain Twig?
The TCT.
Right, I think so. But it is a 2-0.
Twig Captain Team.
And you know what? It would mean the same thing. And that they're having fun, but they do drop out. No chance for them to win this event. They'll play in their 3rd place match up tomorrow against the loser of our 2nd set of the day. Gore, there's pushback here, and it's one of those games where I wondered if Davey would just kind of run away with things. Him and his team would run away with things in Game 2. Not the case. There was fight back from Team Captain Twig, but it is still Team Davey at the end of the day.
Yeah, and this one, again, there was a lot more of a one-sided nature, right? Like you said, there's a lot of pushback from Captain Twig. I'd said I wanted to see a little more out of the Morgan Le Fay. I think last game he had the damage. I just wanted to see it maybe convert to something else, and man, did we get it. Aim Blue had a hell of a game, and again, maybe showcased why this Morgan Le Fay is something to be feared, something that he has gone to several times over the last few months. As well as the team as a whole. I mean, you got to see it a lot in these team fights, and admittedly, there were a lot of team fights for him. They just kept brawling, scrapping wherever they got the opportunity. But the disruptive nature in the CC and the ability to like that, just choose one dude on Team Captain Twig and just chase them down till they're dead, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. It just, that's what gave Team iDavy such an oppressive lead, was that you take one step out of the way, yes, you feel safe, yes, you feel pretty good. Oh, never mind, now I've been grappled by a Mulan. Oh, now I'm no longer able to actually control my character because I got knocked up, and then I got knocked up again, and then I got another form of CC, whether it's a root or a cripple or whatever. It just felt like there was so much to lock people down. Unfortunately, not able to have too much. Double unfortunate for you know, Twig, 5 and 13.
Yeah,
you get the
tough.
1 and 7 for Goja Fox.
A
couple people who got bullied, and it was at the expense of, you know, Aim Blue going 13 and 1. It's just to make one person look real good. I think we got to see exactly why people have been talking about a, you know, EU domination, a EMEA domination in general, iDavy domination. No matter how specific you want to get to region, to player, to whatever, this team had a good reason to feel confident. Looked good when they were playing in EMEA. Still look good when they're playing here on LAN. And again, move themselves forward to the finals in a great way. But like we had said earlier, and I feel like I want to hammer this hard as much as I can, which is that, you know, when you lose, you still don't really lose, right? Because no matter what, everyone's getting a donation to the charity that they came to represent. It's just the amount that's getting donated based on your final standings. And so for Twig, still getting the donation forward, still being able to play, like you said, tomorrow in 3rd, 4th. And for Davey, maybe a little bit of extra change going to the Atlanta Humane Society.
Yeah, I don't know as far as competitive weight. This is the most Twig has ever felt.
I don't know. It's a pretty big deal for Twig.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Season 9, Smite World Championship, after never having won, you finally make it to finals.
Cup, I know. They say them in the exact same breath all the time.
Yeah, this one's, you know how I said I was awake at 2 or 3 in the morning? This one might keep Twig awake for weeks to come. We'll see.
No, I think he has a kid for that.
That's right. That's happening anyway. We'll have something to think about now when he's up that late. Twig will be playing against the loser of match number 2, who will be Rudy versus Caustic. Their teams, another best of 3 coming up later today. Team iDavy awaits the winner of that second matchup of the day. Gore, I'm not sure anyone wants to play against Team iDavy right now.
Yeah, so is winning this next set, like, you win, but do you really win? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm assuming...
It's like an underlying undertone.
Right, I'm assuming we'll do our 3rd place match before finals tomorrow. And so if it's a player, someone else who's really interested in the Euros that's going on, maybe they want to play in that first matchup. We'll see. Lots to play for, of course, charity, but also fun, as we saw Twig's team encompass there in our first set of the day. First set of the day, done and dusted. Caustic versus Rudy, coming up next.